on today's Insta-Stickalo. Temporarily altered podcast formats walk into a bar. One of the temporarily altered podcast formats goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, it's the Into Your Head temporarily daily Christmas show every weekday until the New Year's, and they're absolutely fucking fantastic." And the man behind the bar says, "You may well think it's fantastic, although you probably don't. You're probably just hyping it up because you believe that's how you promote a podcast. But I don't think it's fantastic. That's not to say I have anything against it or you. I just don't happen to think it's fantastic. It's not my cup of tea, if you will. My cup of tea is more of a pint of Guinness, which I admit isn't a cup of tea at all." And the man in front of the bar, what is he? I forget what I say he was. He's a temporarily altered podcast format, says to the man behind the bar, he says, "Christ, I can't remember what I'm replying to now." And the man behind the bar says, "Well, this is a great start, isn't it? How many more of these have he got to do? About 15, I'd say, is it? What's it, the 15th of December? Every weekday till the 1st of January, is that right?" And the temporarily altered podcast format says, "I think so. I'm not sure. I can't be sure because I'm not self-aware. I'm not like one of those futuristic Terminator robots. I'm just a format. I'm just a concept, really. I'm not even a thing. I don't even exist. I'm just a label, because that's what the world is all about nowadays. It's all about labels. You put labels on everything. You say it's the Into Your Head temporarily daily Christmas show, or you say it's a Levi 501 runner or jeans, whatever they make. Do they make Levi runner shoes? They probably do. Why don't they? They should. That's what the young people like nowadays. They like shoes. The young people are all into shoes with tick marks on them because they like approval. You get a Nike shoe and it has a swoosh on it and it says, "This is correct. This footwear is correct. Well done. You're a member of society now." Not much of a society, admittedly. But we're a shoe brand. It's not our responsibility to make society good. It's your responsibility, you as a member of society. Although admittedly, we're members of society too. We, the people who make the shoes and who make the shoe brands, we're members of society too. But we're not here in our capacity as members of society. We're just here in our capacity as our 9-to-5 role as employees of a footwear company. Isn't it absolutely fucking fantastic? Anyway, hello and welcome to the season. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, Christ, he wasn't kidding about the cough and the sore throat and whatever the hell else it is, the AIDS that he's had for the last while, which has curtailed the publication of this show on its regular basis. Well, semi-regular basis. You're absolutely right about that, to say that that I know what you're thinking. Oh no, you didn't say that I know what I said that I know what you're thinking, but you're right to think that. You're right if that's what you're thinking. If I'm right about what I'm saying that you're thinking, which I probably am, it doesn't really matter. This is all bollocks. This is all a load of bollocks anyway. It's just a show. It's just there's whole world nowadays. It's all show business. It's put on a show. Pretend you know what I'm thinking, even though we all know you don't. You go, "I know what you're thinking," and you'll say, "You do not know what I'm thinking, but I'm willing to pretend to entertain the notion for now." You're putting on a show yourself as an audience. You're putting on the show of pretending to believe that I know what you're thinking. So you're putting on a show yourself. Everyone's putting on a show. The audience is putting on a show. The show person is putting on a show. We're all just putting on our own individual shows. We've each got our own fucking podcast all of our own and nobody else is listening to it. It might as well all be, we might as well. It's like that BBC Two show Later with Jules Holland. I don't know, a few foreigners are familiar with it. It's a bit like Top Gear in that there's English people on it, but apart from that, it's different. They don't have cars. Instead, they have 3 or 4 bands around the stage, and the presenter is a musician, and they all sit around stage, facing each other, and they jam. They do a bit of jam. Is that what they call it? Maybe it's not. They each take turns singing, and they're all looking at each other. So the performers and the audience are one and the same. They're all watching each other. That's like a competition to say, I can do a better song than you. Watch this. And this, more importantly, listen to it. Because there's no point watching well, unless you're deaf, I suppose. You'd have to watch a song and not listen to it. You can try and listen to it, but you won't get much out of it. Although I believe there are deaf people who enjoy this, enjoy the vibrations of music, I believe. So I'm led to, don't know much about it, but I read it somewhere. I read half a sentence somewhere that implied that deaf people sometimes like to listen to the vibrations of music through their hands and experience it. And if it says that somewhere, then it must be true, because people wouldn't go so far as to lie about stuff about disabled people. That would be considered in bad taste. You're not allowed to joke or lie about anyone with any disability. It's considered morally wrong, and damn right it is too. Morally wrong. It's morally right that should be considered morally wrong. But it's not. I'm not saying that it is considered morally wrong. I'm saying it should be considered morally wrong, and it's right that it should be considered morally wrong. But it's not right that it is considered morally wrong. That's what I'm saying. Those are two different things, and you were so busy judging me before you even got to the end of my sentence. You didn't even understand what I said. So get down off your high horse and get down onto a pony and pretend it's a high horse, especially if you're I don't know, if you're one of those little people or whatever I'm supposed to call you. I'm sorry if I picked the wrong word. I don't know what, I can't keep up with what I'm supposed to call you, no offence, but if you are a little person, get down off your high horse and get onto a pony. Be like a little bonsai horse, and we'll all know it's a pony. You'll know it's a pony, I'll know it's a pony, we'll all know it's a pony, but you get as much enjoyment out of that as the rest of us will get out of being on a normal high horse. I've never been on a horse in my life, unless you count a toy horse. A toy horse, which is, I don't know. That's the confusion here. You have toy horses and you have toy dogs. Well, toy dogs, they're a family of breeds of dogs that are real. They're real dogs. If you get a toy horse, it's not real at all. It's considered a toy. They say that's just a toy. You get a little dog that's covered in carpet. They bring to shows and things, and they say that's a toy dog. Then of course you get a real toy dog, a dog on wheels, a Snoopy dog on wheels, or something. I used to have a Snoopy dog on wheels. I don't think it was actually Snoopy. It was like Snoopy though. It was a toy wooden dog on 4 little wheels, and it had brown flat ears that looked like chocolate I wanted to eat. Thankfully I didn't, because I probably would have poisoned myself with the plastic. This was in the 1980s, before they stopped putting poison in plastic, so plastic wasn't edible in those days. I believe it is now. They put food into plastic containers now all the time. They say, this is microwavable. I know it's plastic, and you probably think if you put it in the microwave, it's going to turn into the nuclear version of carbon monoxide and poison you. It was okay, because for one thing, it's sealed shut in the microwave. Once you close the door of the microwave, that's what makes all the difference. You close the door of your microwave oven, and that keeps everything in. It's only if you were able to open their microwave while it was cooking, then you'd be in trouble. That'd be like reaching the wall of the Chernobyl nuclear plant, assuming it was still in operation and hadn't yet leaked. Because if you reached it now, it won't make any difference. The whole place is dead already, so you might as well. It's like when you get AIDS and you say, I have AIDS already. I might just go and meet someone else who has AIDS, and we'll just keep swapping the virus forevermore and enjoy it, and no more risk. Although, is that true? I don't know. Okay, you get a stronger version of the virus when I don't know how it works. Don't want to know any of that crap. Anyway, as I say, I know what you're thinking.
Into your head.
If you enjoy this series of temporarily daily breakfast shows, please note you can support this podcast just by doing your Christmas shopping through Amazon. Just go to intoyourhead.com whenever you're going to go shopping and click on the Amazon link. There's one for Amazon US, one for UK, and one for Amazon Canada. You can support the show just by shopping through my links. Doesn't cost you a penny. Helps me pay for this crap. Helps me pay for this coffee. His coffee I've just finished. Oh, there's a little sip left. Hold on a minute. Now it's gone. Well, it's not gone. It's just inside. It's considered gone because it's in between the confines of my skeleton. It's gone into my rib cage, in the space in the middle, in between, in the hollow out of my rib cage. It's just a little hollow area in the middle of my rib cage where I keep myself. My being is in there. That's all that's there. So once you pour coffee in there, it's considered gone. It's like they say it's as if you've poured it outside of the universe. It is not. It's in me. It's in me. It was in this cup doing nothing, and now it's in me, warming me up and soothing my throat and doing all sorts of things. Probably giving me cancer. I don't know. I couldn't care less. It was fucking delicious. I have delicious coffee now, incidentally. I have a coffee bean machine. You put the beans in and it makes coffee. It's fucking delicious. I just spend all day drinking coffee now. I could drink coffee till my heart's content, till my heart explodes and my we have a go with the bongos here. Might as well. I think I see the problem here. This leaf on the table is loose. I need to turn this table around the other way. Turn my life around and turn the table around, and then we'll have less of this. The bongos will sound better then. Until then, we'll just make do. If you don't mind, I'm going to interrupt myself there, fade myself out into oblivion. Into oblivion. That was a thing once. Frank Nora of the Overnightscape had a site called Oblivion or something along those lines. It's gone into oblivion now. It's gone into the dark recesses of the universe. Not that there's anything wrong with that. The dark recesses of the universe are where all the action goes on. The dark recesses of the universe. I'm not a scientist, but I presume it's where there's a load of extra universe that's all being compacted. Like with one of those special washing powders for the washing machine now, where they say, here's a little thimble full of washing powder. It's being condensed and compacted, so you get 25 washes out of this thimble. You just have to make damn sure to measure a house. You have to count out the frigging flakes of washing powder now. Whenever you put on the load, they say, make sure you put 3 grams of washing powder in for every 2 pairs of trousers. Multiply that by 3 if you have some jumpers, and if you're putting your Nike runners in the wash, you might as well just throw the whole lot in, because you're probably a drug addict. That's not to say that Nike runners wearers are drug addicts. No. I'm sure there are some, though. I'm sure there are drug addicts who wear Nikes. Why wouldn't there be? Although there probably comes a point where they get to the point where they have to sell them to furnish their habit with the Nike, or else the shoes are so old they can't sell them, so they keep wearing them. So they're not really much of an advertisement for their brand. If I was Nike and I knew there were drug addicts going around wearing versions of their shoes that were so old that they can't even sell them to furnish their drug habit and their drug addicts, I wouldn't be very happy about that. I'd object to that, although you can't really sue someone for using your brand if they've bought them. Although if it's a drug addict, maybe they've stolen them. Although probably not. When drug addicts steal things, the whole point is to sell them to make money for drugs. So if they're wearing these shoes, they probably haven't stolen them at all. Although that's a sweeping generalization, but it's okay to generalize when the generalization is accusing someone of being innocent rather than being guilty. Not that I'm accusing them of being innocent. No, I'm branding them innocent. Just like Nike puts the swoosh on everything, I'm putting the innocent unless and until proven guilty thing on everything. Just like the law does. The law does that. It says, oh, that fella hasn't been found guilty of anything. Those people in the cellar, they're all dead, but they could have been dead before he ever met them. So he's entitled by law be assumed to be as innocent as be damned until proven guilty. And if I say until proven guilty, that implies that it's all set out in stone that he's going to be proven guilty, which implies that the law is corrupt, which I didn't mean to imply at all, so I take that back. I take it all back. Hit the road, Jack, and never come back, and take it all back. No more, take it all back. And never come back no more. Take it all back. And never come back no more. Take it all, Jack, and never come back. Anyway, happy Christmas and on with the show.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email studio@intoyourhead.com.
Monkey nuts, that's what they call them, although it's the festive season now, or so we're claiming with the Into Your Head temporarily daily Christmas show, so we should probably call them whatever the Christmas version of monkey nuts is. Isn't there a thing that chestnuts, aren't chestnuts the monkey nuts? Chestnuts are the monkey nuts of Christmas, just as monkey nuts are the chestnuts of Halloween, although you don't roast monkey nuts at Halloween. Maybe they roast them in the factory before they put them in the bag. I don't know. Are those things roasted? They're probably not, because they're still in their shells. You'd hardly roast something and have it still in its shell. That would be fucking ridiculous. That would be like roasting a chicken and having it still inside the egg. You'd be roasting a chicken. Maybe you can. Can you roast an egg? I don't know. You can poach them, you can fry them, you can boil them. I don't suppose, why not? Why can't you roast an egg? Well, nobody said you can't. I just assumed you can't. Can you roast it? Maybe I'll try it later. Maybe I'll try roasting an egg, although not on its own, because I don't want to waste electricity heating up the oven just to do an experiment with an egg. So maybe I'll do it next time I'm roasting a chicken. I'll roast an egg with it as well. And maybe I'll get the egg and I'll put it inside the chicken like you would with stuffing. You'll have an egg stuffing inside the chicken, which I know seems a bit weird, but you're the one who's wondering whether you can roast an egg. So am I. We're all one. Let's admit it. We're all wondering now, can you roast an egg? And we're going to spend the rest of our weekday, our work day, we're thinking about her, wondering, I heard on a podcast this morning, some fella spouting out on the subject of whether or not you can roast an egg. And sure, you can roast anything. It's just whether it'll be appetizing and edible. Will it taste okay? Of course you can roast it. There's nothing stopping you putting it in the oven. Would you put butter on it like you would with a chicken? I don't know. What would be the point if it's still in the shell? I don't know. Maybe you take it out of the shell. You say, egg, it's time for you to come out of your shell. You've been in that fetus wrapping for the last 9 months now, or wherever it is, and you've been in my fridge for the last week. It's time for you to come out of your shell before you reached your use by date. In which case, I'll have to throw you away because you get salmonella. Then they say, you can't eat an egg after it's past its date because you get salmonella, or you get something. You get something anyway. You get something other than the desired outcome, which is a full stomach in the morning. Well, you probably get that too. It's just that you'll be emptying it an hour later, which is earlier than desired. You'll be puking your guts out before your 11s, which I suppose will make room for a few chocolate biscuits at 11, but you just probably won't be in the mood for them then after throwing up. Although after you throw up, you feel a lot better. Isn't that what they say? They say, let it all out and you'll feel much better. Let it all out and things will get better. Let it all out. Much better. Let it all out and things will get better. Let it all out. Let it all get wetter. this is a very festive, isn't it? We're talking about chickens. A roast chicken is pretty much a miniature turkey that's nicer and wetter. In fact, you can make a turkey is rather dry, I find, unless you cook it properly, which as it so happens I do. Most people don't. Most people don't roast things properly. They'll put a chicken in the oven and they'll say, oh, I wonder why it's dry. It's dry because you didn't wet it enough. You need to wet something for it to be non-dry. Moisture doesn't just come out of nowhere, especially in an oven at 190 degrees Celsius. Christ, no. Get a fucking grip. They need to teach these things in school. I went through my whole education learning several thousand words of the Irish language, learning what atoms are in a sandwich, but I never learned how to cook a fucking chicken in school. Went through my whole education thinking chickens just come out of a factory made like that. They come out looking like that with the two bits sticking up the legs and the brown coating like they have in cartoons. They always depict chickens as having a very brown coating and two legs sticking up with bones sticking out of them, which I suppose is accurate in a way, but they don't just arrive like that from the factory, although they do sometimes. You can get buy cooked chickens, but they're usually cooked in store, not in the factory. Although I would argue that deli area where they cook the chickens in the supermarket is a factory. A factory is where you produce stuff, so that's a factory. It's just a society doesn't tolerate you referring to it as a factory for some reason. Maybe you call it maybe it's because it sounds too like olfactory, which is olfactory nerves, which I believe is something either in the throat or the nose or something like that. When you get a swab, when they give you a swab to find out if you're a wanted criminal or an unwanted criminal for that matter, they put a swab down your throat. I think they get stuff from your olfactory. Maybe I might be making that up, I don't know. I remember something from science class when they were busy failing to teach us how to roast a chicken. I remember being taught about olfactory nerves somewhere. Anyway, on with the end of today's temporarily daily breakfast show. Back tomorrow. Good morning.